So when I really think about it, it's funny how the most hated movie of 2017 is the best-selling movie of 2018.
Oh my god, I fucking hate it already.
How many sales has The Room had? I wonder, out of curiosity.
I don't know if you'd be able to find that now.
It would be big though, right? It would be big.
Undoubtedly. I mean, people ever since 2003 have been going to like private theaters showing the movie, like little theaters showing the movie, or even just like fucking college gatherings. They'll show the movie just because it's so fucking funny, and they've been doing that for over a decade.
The Room. It could be.
Oh yeah, it's pretty much always on in Toronto.
Tickets, man, just anything.
Yeah, someone in the chat pointed out 50 Shades of Grey is the fastest selling paperback. Which, oh my god, that's so fucking disappointing. I can't believe I didn't know that.
Oh my god, really that's so disappointing.
It's like, okay, already you've like said one sentence and you're already fucking wrong. It's Star Wars, of course it's gonna sell out. And look what happened. Because 5 months later, Solo comes out. And it's the first Star Wars movie that ever bombed. And it's right after the worst Star Wars movie ever made. Do you think there might be a correlation there? I was going to say
that Infamous is a thing, right? He says it like, you're hated, you shouldn't be successful. It's like, plenty of people are successful via being hated. Like, that's a thing. There's
The Room.
But, yeah, I mean, maybe I wouldn't use the word hated. Well, because it's like, the obvious thing we're trying to get at
here The Room is kind of loved.
Is quality. That he's like, well, it depends. Let's
Quality and popularity have not much to do with each other necessarily, but if you're 12 years old, you think that's the case, so that's what you open your YouTube video with.
I mean, I'll just put it into perspective. One of the first reviews about The Room when it came out in 2003 described it as The Room is like being stabbed repeatedly in the head. That is an actual review of the movie. And it is not only a movie that's being shown in theaters like worldwide now because it's so funny, but Tommy Wiseau also has other acting jobs. He just came out with a 2-part movie that's actually unironically good. He's like got these parody videos of him being the Joker now, which is kind of creepy because it's actually not bad. And just because it makes money doesn't mean it's good.
Look, he hasn't made that argument yet. He said it's interesting that the most hated movie is the best selling, which to me doesn't...
know that's the argument he's going to make because
no, of course. But I was just going to say, like, that doesn't sound like a contradiction to me anyway. You know, being the most hated thing, but also one of the best selling things. Because, for example, Mr. Plinkett would have bought the film to review it, and I don't know if you guys got the impression, if you've seen his video, that he loved it. I don't think he did. I think he rather disliked it, and he would have been one of those sales. So there you go.
Yeah.
That's already.
I mean, I went into the movie thinking it was going to be good. I came out hating it. It's Star Wars. People went in expecting it to be good. Now people don't expect that anymore, and it's because of this fucking movie. But you know he's going to use that argument because that's what every fucking Last Jedi defender does. Is they pull these really shitty arguments out of nowhere, like, oh, it made a lot of money, so that must mean it's good.
Well, let's see where he goes with it. You know, he could. The rest of this video could be that he's like, you know what, it makes sense because some things sell well when they hate it. That's probably what it is. Let's let's go forward with it.
It's not going to be what it is.
So you all know what I'm talking about. Star Wars The Last Jedi. If you look into your little Twitter bubbles and your little Facebook Twitter groups of 120 people who all they do is hate Star Wars, it's the worst movie of all.
All right, let's go to YouTube.
Oh god, here we go.
Let's type in The Last Jedi. Let's see what pops up. Oh, the last there's Plinkett's review. That's at 1.7 million. We
Still
got
less than mine.
We got Vito, which is at 2.5 million. Why it's a complete cinematic failure. All right,
more than mine.
Cinema Sins, everything wrong with it. 3.4 million.
More than mine.
Definitely more than mine.
Oof. Oh boy. I mean, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of Facebook.
What are you gonna say?
Well, there's a lot of Facebook groups that I used to go on. I think in January of this year. I think I stopped in February, where they weren't hating the movie. Like there are the actual groups that he was referring to that just every day it's like, oh, this is another thing that Ryan Johnson said. And that got kind of monotonous. But there were the fan groups which were you get people of all different ages and different backgrounds talking about, oh, if only they made Justin Bieber a Jedi in the next movie, and all these other bizarre ideas. So they were just as crazy on either end, and it didn't matter whether they hated it or liked it. There was something that they wanted to celebrate.
Well, yeah.
So
one of the first reactions I saw from positive stuff was like, "Oh my god, look what they've done with Force Ghosts! Now we can." It's in my original rant video because I saw the comment. I wish I'd put it on screen. But they said, "Now we can finally see Force Ghosts fight like Yoda versus Palpatine." Doesn't that just sound awful?
wow.
Well, it's one of those. Oh, let's just say that the people who don't like this movie, let's just call them a bunch of. It's just trying to label them as X group. They hang. They're just these little groups of people, and they're out there, and nobody. There's not really many of them, right? And he's
The
trying to
loud
frame it
minority.
that these people, they're a very loud minority. They don't pay attention to them because there's not really that many of them. They're just in these tiny little Facebook groups of 120 or whatever. Don't listen to them.
All time.
Why is
Literally,
it, I know that this is not an argument, but why is it that every single person that defends The Last Jedi looks like this? It's just like some scrawny fucking middle-aged man who has no fucking dick or respect for himself.
They usually say that like people who hated The Last Jedi are usually neck bearded, basement dwellers. Like that's usually what it is. As a comment on it, and it's just.
Yeah, I know at least one brown person that doesn't like the movie.
That's true. We know two, don't we? We know a
two.
whole
Yes,
two.
I always think of Fringy as green though, so
True.
I don't know.
He's still a person of color at that point.
Yeah, he is the only person of color left.
White is all colors combined. I'm a person of colors.
We need a Daniel Day-Lewis rendition of The Last Green.
Last Jedi is the worst thing to ever happen to cinema. Like The Room.
No one has ever said that. Fuck off.
I don't think the worst thing to happen to cinema. Like, come on,
The worst thing to happen to Star Wars, yeah, but not cinema.
Is that like is someone saying that?
God,
Non-ironically?
already Strawman. He's been fucking a minute.
I don't know. I think arguments could be made.
What for cinema?
But
I'm not sure what I would choose as the,
I think you
the
could make
film that did
arguments
the most
for it.
damage to cinema. Interestingly, though, that The Last Jedi has caused such a resurgence. I'm not sure what the right word is here, but basically an idea where everybody's reevaluating critics on YouTube. Like that happened thanks to The Last Jedi more so than any other film.
Oh yeah, like this. The Last Jedi made EFAP.
Take
True.
any large franchise, and let's say James Bond, and use social media or politics or anything to change the actual formula of what a Bond film is. And it's going to be a big thrust of people who hate the thing now, simply because it was not what they wanted to get. So it doesn't really matter what the formula would be, whether it's a big franchise, that's where a lot of eyes are on it. And therefore, you're going to see a lot of people react to it. It's going to be newsworthy. So for a gentleman like this, if you look at, as we were talking before about the things that he likes, it's everything that's popular. And he's going to have something to say about that. So maybe he has some insight into what actually is popular and why. Who knows?
He likes the fuck out of The Witcher.
Yes.
oh yeah, I was talking about that before we went live. It's like almost everything in this frame is Witcher related, and it makes me angry because it's like you're not allowed to have good things around if you're going to make shitty arguments like this.
Still, yeah, I'm not sure what I would pick for film that was the worst thing to happen to cinema. It just seems so, like, hyperbolic to me. But again, worst thing to happen to Star Wars, maybe. I could definitely see arguments for that.
Is like high caliber compared to The Last Jedi, okay? And of course, it's all the fault of the women in the franchise.
Oh
so
my
nobody's
God,
gonna
fuck off.
What?
well-
I've never heard this. I guess this guy's a Polygon writer, I guess, or something, because no one's ever said that. It's never been said by anybody in the history
I
of
guess
ever.
maybe he was right. He is referring to a fringe group of like 3 dudes across the entire internet who said that it's the worst thing to happen to cinema and it's because of women.
Is it the women on the editing staff, or was it just the women in the movie?
I'm guessing it was the women in the movie because
Well, I think no women are safe.
yeah, actually, it's any woman that had any hand
Any woman
in the
ever.
production. Actually, no, yeah, any woman at all, just unrelated to Star Wars, even those ones.
Just the concept of women. Schrodinger's woman.
By the movie. Nobody saw the movie, apparently. Even though Star Wars track record shows you that the middle of every trilogy is the weakest one.
Well, yeah, it's because all the fucking women in it.
I'm confused.
That's a very poor understanding of storytelling, or just to say a trilogy in general. That the second part of anything is the worst one. We were just talking about Lord of the Rings, and I was saying how much. Well, my knowledge of Lord of the Rings, obviously, but I was saying how much I liked the Two Towers. It was probably my favorite part of the whole trilogy. So to say that a movie franchise that happens to be a trilogy, and the second one being the weakest, I'm kind of curious where he's going with that.
I mean, Empire is universally accepted to be the best Star Wars movie.
Did he say it was the weakest
the middle, so.
for quality, or did he imply that it's the weakest for view count? Because it did seem to be maybe that it was aimed at popularity rather than quality. But even then,
it sounded like view count.
I'll just run it back. I think he was saying that, but even then, I don't know that that's true.
Even though Star Wars track record shows.
Yeah, Star Wars track record.
I don't know how that could possibly be true. I don't know
that
why
the middle
the
of every trilogy is the weakest one.
The weakest
in general, yeah.
Weakest one.
Is it?
No, that's what he's saying.
I guess so. Attack of the Clones and Empire Strikes Back.
Well, we can compare it. We can compare the genres to, let's say, movies or video games, and say, well, look at a popular space opera. And I know Mass Effect, and Mass Effect 2 is perhaps the most popular version out of all the three. So I don't know what he's getting at here.
People are pointing out Spider-Man 2 and The Dark Knight, and that's...
Oh, yeah. Wow. Okay. Well, again, if he's just saying the amount of views it grabs is typically the second one takes a dip compared to the first... Maybe he means
popularity, sales-wise, or I don't know.
Is he trying to say that that's an explanation for why it would have done worse than The Force Awakens? Because I guess.
Yeah, Aliens, Back to the Future 2, The Godfather, The Two Towers.
Is very ambiguous.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see where he's going with this. Is the video pointless?
Well, no, he's saying argument ad populum. Because it didn't sell the most. It's the worst. And again, we're looking at a guy who has all kinds of popular paraphernalia around him, but this is the world he's in.
If he's saying Last Jedi can't be that bad considering it's the bestseller, when he's just admitted that Empire Strikes Back sold the worst out of the originals, even though it's typically looked at as the best, doesn't it mean that these things don't connect then?
We'll see how his argument flows. We're not sure where he's getting at.
No.
Empire Strikes Back.
I mean, first off, The Phantom Menace is worse than Attack of the Clones already, so you're wrong on that front.
Are you sure? There's a lot of discussion about that.
The Last Jedi is the worst.
According to the worldwide box office for the original trilogy, the first made the least, but 5 and 6 are really close. So,
that, but it's one thing to go with that. Came out in theaters, and it carried on selling insane numbers. And at this point, we got the September reports, and it's the top-selling Blu-ray and DVD worldwide.
And the comments of his videos imply that he's not really interpreting that all good. Someone said that Black Panther outsells it in home media. So I'm not exactly certain.
Is he trying to argue that the release date of Infinity War has anything to do with Blu-ray sales? Jedi?
I mean, Infinity War didn't come out a couple weeks after The Last Jedi. It was like months after.
Was it?
Yeah, because it didn't come out long before. Because Solo came out not long afterward.
Also, I've made a small fix.
Was 5 months away.
I've made a small fix. I'm hoping my internet is level now. For anybody, because in chat I was noticing a couple of people picked up that not only is the stream a bit laggy, but that everything's out of sync in terms of I say a thing and then you guys say a thing way later and the video. Hopefully it's fixed now. So just updating. Keep going.
Yeah, Infinity War came out April 27th. So the end of April. So
couple weeks,
December, January, February, March, April. So 4 months.
It's possible, but
that's a third of a year later.
I'm still stuck at how meaningless this all is anyway. Best selling does not mean that it was not bad.
Well, yeah, the whole premise of the point is that if it's so bad, then how come a lot of people spent money on it?
And the fact that he's already registered that Empire Strikes Back, assuming he's right, sold worse than the first or third in the original trilogy. To me, I'm just like, okay, then, so we agree. This is meaningless.
Yeah, and if we're
Rhino Milk
talking,
made more sense than this.
if we're talking numbers, when it comes to like Blu-ray sales of The Last Jedi are way behind The Force Awakens.
As he just said, though, the second one always takes a dip, so that explains that. Get fucked, Rags. Checkmate.
All right.
And United States. So, does any of that hatred actually correspond to anything that people are saying? Because let's be realistically talking about this.
Let's be realistically talking about this.
I know. It's like every other word that comes out of his mouth, it's like, oh my god, your language is bad.
I wouldn't have a problem if it's not for like, it's only 3 minutes, dude. You could have given another shot. Whatever, it's fine.
I'm really disappointed by the fact that he's playing The Witcher 3 on a fucking PlayStation.
It's okay, man.
He could also have it on his PC, maybe. Besides, but this video is basically, of course, God's real. Look at how many people go to church.
Also, yeah, I just realized he may have the controller. That doesn't mean he necessarily plays on the console. Well, there's still hope. Still some hope.
Hates this franchise.
All right, and I hope.
Then why is it making so much money?
Hates the franchise, of why is it making money? Why is that hard to believe? Like, what's hard to register about that?
Bieber, One Direction. I mean, it's like, I swear, this is a 12-year-old. Oh yeah, well, if it's so bad, then how come it's making lots of money?
Well, he definitely talks like a 12-year-old.
Well, yeah.
I'm just stuck at the point where it's just like, yeah, as you guys just said, Transformers. How'd you explain that? If Transformers was so bad, then why is it selling so well? Explain that. Just lame. Make a better argument.
Why are people buying this movie if they hated it so much?
A lot of people aren't.
You know,
that's
why is it
a lot of people aren't.
You're taking the sales from when the movie first came out in theaters, which doesn't fucking count. Because look, just because the movie made a ton of money when it came out doesn't mean anything. Because look, I went into the movie thinking The Last Jedi was going to be good. It wasn't good. So my opinion adjusted accordingly. Just because the movie made a lot of money when it came out in theaters, a Star Wars film, like one of the most, arguably the most popular movie ever of all time.
Yeah,
because
of course
he's going to make money.
Because he's saying basically that, oh yeah, well, The Last Jedi is in everyone's sale on Blu-ray, and he's not saying that The Last Jedi Blu-ray sales are 56% of The Force Awakens.
Also,
and that's a huge drop.
When was this video made? Can you look that up?
I want to see when it was made at September 19th.
Yeah, that was 8 days ago.
Okay, are you fucking kidding me?
No,
it's public knowledge that Solo was the first Star Wars movie to flop. And it's the first it was the very next movie after The Last Jedi.
And I have said for a while that I would assume the damage from Last Jedi would be seen in either Solo and Episode 9 or Episode 9. That it wouldn't be seen in The Last Jedi sales because people bought The Last Jedi going into seeing the sequel to Force Awakens. You know,
I would say that the Blu-ray sales and have a bit to do with it, because if people saw it and didn't like it, then why would they buy the Blu-ray?
Well, see, this is a complicated subject. So you've got a lot of different factors that come in. For example, the debate we had with that guy for the first time, Wolf, he actually, despite us explaining extensively how much we really hated the movie, he still asked us, like, well, you're still getting the Blu-ray, right? And he was like, what? And he was just like, it seemed odd to him that you wouldn't buy a Star Wars film. Like, that's something that's something everyone does. You just do that. You just, and I imagine lots of families were just like, yeah, let's buy it. Why not? We'll pick it up. And then you've got people like Plinkett, several other reviewers who despised this film, who were like, yeah, we need to buy it because we want to see the extra features to be able to make a cogent, complete review of all the information we can get. There's so many different...
God, I have the Blu-ray of The Room on the shelf. I'm looking at it right now.
Which means it's good, right?
Yes.
Means it's high quality entertainment.
Okay, well, yes, objectively, it is high quality.
And there are some people who didn't watch it in the cinema, and they were like, "Yeah, I'll just get it when it comes out." And yeah, I mean, I don't know why we're arguing all this anyway. Because it's just like This is pretty fundamental stuff. I'm pretty sure Solo's Blu-rays will take a huge hit, like they're not going to be popular, but that doesn't mean that I wouldn't even say that's evidence of Solo being bad, because I think Solo's better than The Last Jedi. So
yeah, I'm curious. I think the best way to find out is what's not maybe sales numbers, but the percentages of sales in relation to Blu-ray, like box office to Blu-ray as a comparison, not just raw numbers. Is what percentage of people who saw Solo got the Blu-ray compared to what percentage of people saw The Last Jedi and then got a Blu-ray.
oh dear. Well, I mean, there's not much left, so
Pacing so far ahead of so many other movies that apparently people love. I'm just asking a question,
They're not
right?
begging the question.
And then I know people are going to bring up, but it killed the brand, it damaged the franchise. Look at what Solo did for numbers.
I mean, look at its merchandise. World-class bullshitters have gone through that extensively.
Oh shit, it's bad.
Massive damage to the sales of merch, I guess you'd say, overall. As for the Blu-ray sales, like I said, there's lots of ways to explain that, but I suppose this fundamental question is, how do you know it's done damage then? I'd be like, I guess I would go with the merch argument, but overall, I'm already aware because of the amount of the insane portion of comments I've had on my videos of people basically saying Star Wars is out, Star Wars is done, they're never gonna give Disney another dime. People will refuse to watch MCU movies because of what they've done to Star Wars. It's like this didn't happen before as extreme, let's put it that way.
It's like, what would you buy when you think about The Last Jedi? What would you buy a toy of? Who in that movie makes you want to go, man, I want a toy of that person to put on my in my collection. I really want this character. I mean, granted, that character won't be the same character in the next film, probably. Well, but what about The Last Jedi makes you go, man, I really want a toy of this character?
Well, Bob Iger just released
I'm sorry.
Bob Iger released a comment 2 days ago about the slowdown that they're doing now with the franchise. So whether that means that they're paying attention, saying, hey, we realize biggest flop did not make any money, and a lot of money is not going to be made on DVD, or they're hoping that Kennedy believes that they're hoping that they're going to make money on the DVD. That's a very hopeful to say it.
Well, the interesting comparison is like, oh, are they slowing down the MCU too? It's like, no. The MCU is like 3 movies a year.
Like the sun or some shit.
This is the thing. It's had a real impact how bad The Last Jedi is. And that was the other thing, just one last argument on top of all this, like for why I know it's affected Star Wars. The Last Jedi has got piss poor writing. I already know that's going to have damage. Especially Luke. What happened to Luke? You've done irreparable damage to Star Wars as a fucking franchise when you destroyed Luke. Pretty simple.
Yeah, I saw a video recently from Star Citizen, that game that's coming out at some point in the history of the human race, and Mark Hamill's in it, and Davos Seaworth, so that's fun. But people in the comments were like, Mark Hamill's acting more like Luke in this movie than he did, or in this game rather, than he did in The Last Jedi. And it's like, oh man.
Literally, if there's a movie where he's like a member of government arguing for policy on, some shit in 2023, it's like a futuristic-ish movie, then we'd just be like, man, he's close to Luke here than in The Last Jedi.
Well, in Star Citizen, he plays as like an actual like starfighter pilot, or captain, or whatever he is. And it was like, oh, Mark Hamill's actually being Luke, but in a video game.
Dude, I can see like directors or something being like, should we just fucking make a movie about like a space wizard? Be like, hey, Mark Hamill, come play it. Go on, we'll just give you a movie that you should have had.
Oh, that'd be the best. That would be absolutely
it's called Planet Fights.
Planet Fights.
Moon Wars.
One, Solo had 2 months of marketing. 2, it was right there next to Deadpool.
You're insane. You're just making shit up.
I don't think Solo had 2 months of marketing.
Deadpool 2 didn't come out for another month after Solo and Infinity War. And Infinity War and Solo didn't come out until 5 months after The Last Jedi. You're just blatantly getting shit wrong.
Yeah, because Solo was May 10th. Infinity War was April 27th.
And Deadpool 2, I mean, I remember I watched that when I was on vacation in Colorado.
he's like, okay, so I've just made the argument that Last Jedi hasn't had an effect on the marketplace, like people want you to believe. And then it's like, oh shit, I've got to account for Solo. It's like, that came out at the same time as Deadpool 2 and Infinity War, and it was badly marketed and a bunch of other stuff. Like, there you go.
Deadpool 2 was May 18th.
Oh, okay. So Deadpool 2 was after. Okay.
But the thing is, like, it's treated as though Star Wars has to, like, come out on its own because other franchises will stop it from being successful, which is ridiculous.
Well, he's saying that Star Wars is at a point where it has to, like, where the Deadpool movie is a threat to a Star Wars film.
Yeah,
what? I gave my ticket money to Deadpool 2 and walked into the Star Wars theater, so yeah, it is a threat.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I don't know about you three, but like, I'll be seeing the next Star Wars film almost as a joke. I'll be like, this will be fun.
I'm just curious.
Yeah,
and that was how I went into Solo. So yeah, I'm not even going to remotely take Episode 9 seriously.
And like, at this point, I'd just be like, is this video trying to argue that The Last Jedi can't be as bad as people are saying because it should have a more detrimental effect on the marketplace? And in which case, I would just be like, you're done because plenty of bad things make money. And it's just like, stop trying to make up for it by being like, Solo came out at a difficult time, blah 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 blah. I agree that there's other elements that would have cost Solo money-making abilities, but like, there's no way you can deny that the hatred towards The Last Jedi would have had no effect. At least one guy didn't go and see Solo because of The Last Jedi. That was a thing that happened in this world.
People that wanted a Solo prequel from the beginning. I mean, I didn't think I needed it. I really loved the movie, but I didn't think I needed it before it happened.
Of course you did.
So
sure you did.
There's a few reasons to look at why Solo didn't do as good as it did. But The Last Jedi is a completely whole different story. And then let's not even bring merchandise into this, because I've seen the reports that I can't talk about yet. And we'll just wait till the end of the year to talk about Star Wars toy sales. Because
you don't need to wait till the end of the year. Bullshitters has already talked about it 100 times now.
I was about to say, like, he's got some real ass evidence, and this is the thing. Jeff is obsessed with, like, he knows his shit about toys. Like, this is, it's like his forte. So I would be interested to see him and this guy discuss how the toy.
We don't even need to talk about toy sales. We'll talk about that at the end of the year when I get my speech impediment.
He just implied that he's got special information that he can't reveal. I was just like, wait, what?
At the end, yeah. Why? I'm curious why toy sales would get. I mean, generally you'd think that once the movie releases, that would be, then the toys start coming out and such. But there's a pretty big gap in Star Wars right now.
Very simple logic. It's like, do you want to get your Holdo and Rose Tico toys, guys? Like, no.
I remember the other day when I texted you that picture of that really stupid looking Dustin toy from Stranger Things.
Oh god,
and
yeah.
It's like, oh my god, I think people would rather buy that just because it looks so funny that
I can't even see people wanting to get Phasma toys now, because you just be like, oh, Phasma, the lame ass that just fucking fell down a hole.
Yeah, remember all the cool shit she did, like
and
die.
For anybody who's like, that's the same as Boba Fett. It's like, Phasma didn't do anything.
Like,
Boba
I don't
Fett
even like
did stuff.
Like, I don't even like Boba Fett, and I'd rather have a Boba Fett toy than a Phasma toy.
God, yeah.
And I don't even want toys.
I would take Django any day over Phasma. Well, that's not a surprise, because
I'd play as Jango Fett in Star Wars Battlefront 2 rather than Phasma. Although I don't own Battlefront 2 because I don't.
Mate,
like
if it made you
games.
bulletproof, you'd pick it. Let's be honest.
I'd just mod the game.
If the blaster bolts would hit my armor and bounce off and hit my teammates, then yes, I would.
You get booed for friendly fire, like, oh man.
Boo! Phasma sucks.
Pretty sure, without telling you, that it's going to be way higher than you think it is. So
no, it's not.
What, way higher than you think it is? That's
okay,
so vague. What?
Yeah, I guess he's got special access to information.
Well, I mean, what I think it is that they're in absolute They're just in the absolute shitter.
We gotta remember this and take it to Jeff sometime just to see what he says, because I'm interested.
Oh, absolutely. Because Jeff's made how many videos on this?
A bunch. Even I've seen them.
I mean, he's had some really super compelling evidence to prove it.
Well, he goes into the
And this
stores
guy-
and he goes to the Star Wars sections and they're full because no one gives a shit. It's like,
Yeah. I mean, and then this guy's like, I'm going to show you the evidence at the end of the year.
Well, it turns out those Admiral Holdo and Rose Tico action figures are selling like hotcakes.
well, this is
in
the interesting
Rwanda.
thing. It's even stuff like Millennium Falcons aren't selling as much. Like it's all going downhill. And well,
No, I remember one
apparently
that
this guy's
huge
got
link on
additional
one-
information that he can't share
shit.
yet. So we'll just have to take his word for it. You trust this guy, right, guys?
No.
I couldn't. I don't. No.
He's playing The Witcher 3 on a
once
PS4.
again-
I already don't trust him.
Well, the thing I don't trust is how those figurines are standing on top of that computer monitor.
Yeah, I've been trying to figure that out for
That's
the
a
past
plot hole.
5 minutes now, and it's really
Because the
bothering
stands
me.
are clearly like circles. They're circular, but the top of a computer monitor is very thin.
I think I
So,
see like a little,
is there a
like
shelf
little
behind
plank
it?
behind it. It looks like there's a little shelf right there.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
if you look to the very left of the monitor, it still bothers me though.
Very strange. Very strange.
Apparently, Movie Bob's released a video. I've heard this from a couple of people where he's basically sort of accidentally or purposefully shat on the first two Predator films, and he's disabled
Oh, boy.
he's disabled comments as well because of the backlash already. So
Like,
Really?
like okay, the second one, okay, I didn't like the second one, but the first one, ooh,
I mean,
They're gonna have to-
I'm interested to see what he would say, but like, yeah, the first one. Good luck trying to criticize that. It's going to be tough. Like, it's a very tight film, but you know.
is it the same kind of criticism as what's his fucking stupid name? The guy who hates you a lot.
Which one, dude? There's a few of those.
The one who has the super punchable face with that ugly, like not good beard who
Oh.
dropped Citizen Kane.
I think you're talking about Quentin, aren't you?
Yes, that's it.
I mean, fuck. Well, we're gonna get a whole dose of Movie Bob in a moment, so.
Oh, God.
This movie's the worst thing ever, and
Piss before that.
everybody hates it.
Nobody's saying everybody hates it.
Mm.
Otherwise, there wouldn't be a constant discussion about how bad it is. Let's be honest.
Comes from. Feel free to let me know in the comments below. But if your argument is it has
This guy's not going to be pleased with the comments on this video.
I haven't
I'll
checked
just
them.
tell
Are
you
they,
right now.
are they not?
They're about what you'd expect.
I mean, in fairness to him, he gave himself 3 minutes and 20 seconds to dismantle the idea that The Last Jedi is bad. It's like,
based on toy sales.
yeah,
What's the like to dislike ratio on it?
It's less than 50. Let me go back. It's at 47%, but it's only got like 10,000 views. And this is from a channel with 452,000 subs, which is odd.
wow, really?
Yeah.
Can you find out what his thing is? Is it usually not this sort of thing?
Well, it's Comic Book Cast 2. It's an online geek culture community. Our mission is to deliver content that helps you embrace the film, TV, comics, and gaming that we all love in a unique way, and having a few good laughs in between. And this channel gets shit for views.
Sounds like next gen tactics all over again.
What are I'm just checking the most popular stuff. Hulk versus Thanos in Avengers Infinity War. Hulk is terrified and afraid. That's their most popular video. Okay. Seems like you don't need to see that
Fucking
video
weird
after that title.
That is a very strange title. That's like a-
Spider-Man live action suits compared and breakdown.
Compared and breakdown is
Oh, I
that's
guess it's
like
so
the
it's
actual literal
live action suits compared and breakdown. I guess that's how they wanted me to read it.
breakdown.
Dude, why is Thanos different colors in the MCU and Avengers Infinity War? Well, hey, you know what? If that's working out for them, all their top videos of the MCU, basically.
Oh boy. You guys keep going. I gotta take a piss real quick.
Well, I'm sure there's not much left of.
at Asians or a woman leading the army who has purple hair and it's not acceptable, but
No,
a
that's
fish
me.
man who's only ever yelled it's a trap.
me.
All right. So this,
You saved the best arguments for the last, I guess.
Yeah, this is pretty insane.
Asians or a woman leading the army who has purple hair and it's not acceptable, but a fish man who's only ever yelled, "It's a
that
trap,"
fish man is
acceptable?
beautiful.
I was about to say that's racist, dude. Just because he's a fish doesn't mean he's not qualified.
Yeah,
Jeez.
but
Come on.
he's shitting over Admiral Akbar.
Do you have a problem with salmon-colored skin? I can't believe you.
I'm upset by this. He's very rude.
He's basically it's the whole if it's women or Asians it's bad, and Admiral Akbar is a shit. The idea that Admiral Akbar, who's an established character, should have been the one to replace one of them. I don't know.
And I think the whole ball gown and purple hair thing, it's fucking very confusing to see.
Yeah,
like a lot of
it's
people
the ball gown. That threw me off too. If you're gonna be a leader of wartime scenario, you don't wear a dress.
Yeah, this isn't Trump's resistance or something that you do from home. This is a war.